Record. Okay, here we are with another Saturday Night Live. Saturday, February 23rd, 2019. And it's always interesting how life keeps bringing us more and more challenges because it's the way that it's the only way it's going to strengthen us unless we give up and let it take over. So the main thing that we all have to address if we want to find some balance is the emotional side. And if you've been on the page for a while, you can see it's 100% of the problems, the challenges are emotion. There's the physical stuff is irrelevant. It's very simple to do, just fast. But what's going to stop you from fasting? The emotions. Well, you know, I have a birthday party to go to. I got a wedding to go to. I got my mother's anniversary. I got the fruit season just started. The winter just started. And we go on and on and on. And the best time to do anything is right now. Make the choice. We can fall down, but we get up and we continue. Get up and continue. Get up and continue. Get up and continue. And I'm still here 3 decades later, almost. Very stubborn to continue to find that balance, which is an ongoing thing. It's I don't know if complete balance is ever achieved. Maybe it may be, but it's creation is interesting because when you have so much of things, you have to release to bring balance to the others surrounding you. And this is the one thing that is very interesting. So I think it's a continual, elegant dance with all the stars for eternity. And we'll see when we jump the fence what the other realms have for us, or some of us can jump into those realms at will and have a peek. But it's all interesting. Anybody want to share anything?
Yeah, I can always talk, Gino. you know that. And, it's always so lovely to see everybody here because it's so beautiful, and I feel their energy, and I feel your energy too, Gino. And I think you're right about the emotions and the triggers that it has. And I found that when I was in my feasting stage, the emotional triggers were much louder compared to being in MFS, as you know. The only good thing is that when you do a long MFS, is that the other dimensions teach you, to be aware of these emotional triggers. It helped me a lot during my feasting stage because not only are they come up because you're not numbed out from the food, you're not desensitized, like you're desensitized from eating years and years of decades of putting crap in your body, that when you clean it out, you become very heightenedly sensitized, as you know, and most people that have done MFS would know this, I'm sure. So when they come up, it's the way that you look at it. I think it's your perspective that I personally thank it when it comes up, because it's something that has to be, that's a trigger, and has to be, for me personally, has to be looked at in order to go through it. And I've actually had a lot of family triggers, especially with my dad, over the last couple of weeks, and it's actually been quite huge. And parents or siblings and people that we're blood genetically connected to seems to bring this up more than anyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that I've been meditating on that, and maybe it might help some others. And I had a really deep dream, or deep in the other place, and the the soul said to me, it's not up to you to, take care of your dad, because I've been taking care of him a little bit and helping him out. And he's actually a recovering alcoholic. All his life, he's drank ever since he was 10 years old. So, yeah, so he can become very aggressive and abusive, and his cognitive ability is deteriorating, and it's very hard to watch. And the soul said to me, you're keeping him here, and he doesn't want to be here. And, you have to let him physically, emotionally, mentally, everything. You have to let him go. And that's a huge emotional trigger, because I don't want him to go, and neither do a lot of the other family members. So, and it was huge. It was very, very heightened, very, very heightened. And now going into my first day dry into 180 days, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, it's something that I'm going to have to work on deeply, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, that's about it, Gino. I've got other things to say, but talking about those emotional triggers, that they're massive, that they're absolutely massive, and at some point we all have to deal with it in some way, either in this physical realm or somewhere else, or I'm not sure, but they come up.
Yeah, it's our self-created demons. We, it's just look at everything that happens, and we have to ask ourselves, why is this situation like this? We can only look in the mirror. And why we created all this is anybody's guess. You're going to have to find those answers for yourself. But the thing is that I see most people, they give up. They give up way too easy. Their focus is on somebody finding an answer for them, something helping them, blah, 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 always external. And that's going to be an endless spiral outwards to more and more confusion. I've seen it over and over. And it's why people get burnt out. You're not going to find any balance outwards, no matter what you do, I'll just look at the confusion about diets itself out there. You can find complete opposite opinions of the same thing. And everything in between too. Nobody can agree on anything. And if we ask the question, do we really know? We don't know anything. We don't know anything. But, the one thing that we can say that we're pretty sure is when you stop eating, the physicality, the mental and emotional bodies, they start to balance out, and they start to heal, and so on and so forth. So that we know, and we see it's a program throughout all nature. So when we keep saying the answers are in plain sight, you got to pay attention, because the answers are in plain sight. And that is very, very clear. Digestion and healing do not belong together. They just don't. And when people start giving that digestion a long break, you start seeing the miracles starting to happen. Now, they are so dramatic when you stop digesting for months that it's too overwhelming for us emotionally to be able to handle that shift. And because because nothing else in their surrounding has changed. It's all the same triggers. You know, we keep talking this over and over because repetition is the mother of skill. You can hear it, but you can listen to it, but you can't hear it until one day it finally sinks in and you see the light. The answers are in plain sight. It was always there in front of you. You know, like somebody posted about that new drug, something that's from that, what's it called? Devil's breath, they call it, that from that plant. It's the best thing for nausea, for seasickness. No, seawater. Take a little bit of seawater. There's nothing better, and it's not a drug. Answers are in plain sight. Seawater is the best thing for seasickness. You just take a small amount, and your seasickness will be gone. Isn't that amazing? How much more answers in plain sight do you want than that? It's interesting, but
It's like what you say, Gino. Everything comes back into balance.
yeah.
You know, for the soul. And there's a question up there. Somebody is asking about how to deal with chronic nightmares, and
Yeah.
you can. Yeah, it's the same thing, isn't it? Really, with everything.
There's some emotional imbalance that are not being addressed, and until we address them, the nightmares are there to how can I put it, to show you there's a need to address a situation in your life. And once you fall into balance, the nightmares will go away. So you have to go deep within, look in the mirror of truth, and find where those imbalances are. Because if you look in the mirror, you will know what they are. I can't tell you what they are. Nobody can tell you what they are. But we all know what they are. And address it that way. But physically, we can talk about the physical things, this, that, and the other thing, and the adrenals, and the kidneys, and the thyroid. We all know a little bit better than that now. We go straight to the emotional. So it's not an easy thing when you're living and dealing with other people, because most people are just not on the same page, and there's resistance and friction, and it's a challenge. The easiest way for people to heal, go in isolation in the mountains somewhere, in the bush, in the jungle, and you'll heal. Stay away from everybody. Come back to society with all your family, friends, and whatever, and you'll go back to where you were. And then you'll understand what the problems are. Is it everybody else, or is it you? So we create these frictions with everybody for whatever reasons, because there's some imbalances we need to address. So how do we address them? Well, we chip away at them one at a time. And first of all, the acknowledgement of the challenges are right in our face, right in our mirror. And once we accept that, and then we can work with it, and a little bit of time we chip away and chip away and chip away till we can find some resolution and balance it out. Everybody's looking for that magic potion, a magic person to make a spell and make it all go away. I wish it was that easy, but I've not seen any of that stuff. I've seen, so-called what they call healers or whatever, be able to assist people. But to resolve situations, I've not seen it. I've not seen it myself. Could it happen? I'm sure it can. But it's always our own responsibility to take care of the physical vessel, mental and emotional vessels, so we can bring some balance to everything. Nightmares are interesting. Of course, Their foods can trigger nightmares, especially animal products, chemicals. I've experienced those, but let's deal with the seed. Let's find out what's happening in our lives, in our life that is allowing the physical things to happen, because if we've taken on certain foods or certain chemicals, there's an emotional reason behind it, so we can have these physical challenges to learn from those experiences. We're all learning. We're all learning. I always had bad nightmares. Then in one of my last full MFSs, 20-50 days, were daily nightmares. Wow. Daily nightmares.
Can I give a quick suggestion, maybe? I don't know if it'll help.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. When you get in that fight and flight, when you're in that moment and you're suffering in it and you're aware of it, the only thing that I think that, that I've done in the past is to hand it over to the other dimension in that moment, because it's just too hard for you as a person to deal with at that moment, because you're not going to be able to go into why you're having the nightmares and trying to find out the reasons, is to lay that burden onto the other dimension and get it off you, because they will help you if you ask for it, and you're fasting and everything. They will help you, but please ask. That's one thing I've done. It might help, but might not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, anytime you resist, it just makes things worse. So allow the flow. And just let it be. Just look at it as watching a movie, and you're the director. You can change it. Really look at where you came from and the processes of the experiences, and see how the physical things are all a facade to what the real problem is. You can do all the physical things, but we take ourselves back to experience the pain and suffering again, even though we know what to do to get rid of all the physical pains, because there's emotional imbalances that are not addressed, and the physical pain is easier to deal with for people than the emotional pain, so they numb themselves out with the physical pains. We all do that. I'll be the first. We all do that. The last year and a half has been the most challenging, taking care of my mother. So I've never had these challenges. Like I said, if you want to heal, go in isolation in nature. You'll heal. You don't need anything. Stop eating, go in nature. There's your answer. But if you're going to be going back, be prepared. Be prepared. The physical things are easy, fast, stop eating, very easy. But to continuously make changes in your life, your whole lifestyle, continuously evolving, continuously changing, move that stagnation out in every which way. That's what most people will never do. You've all shown us thousands of it, not ready to heal, not willing to do whatever it takes, no matter what, no matter how long it may take, not willing to do it. Yeah, you do your stunts of 108 days, you feel amazingly beautiful. Months later, you're back to where you were a year later, or two, whatever. Because we're not ready to do whatever, no matter what. And that's the biggest challenge. NA, who's this? Somebody just popped in. Hello, NA. We'd like to know who you are if you've read the Zoom protocol. I always have bad nightmares in my last one. Okay, since then, 10 years, I've been clenching my teeth at night to the point of grinding a hole once. Wow. And now holes in my neck card from her mouth. My goodness. I accept and recognize deep emotional issues I want to overcome, but I am an unknown abyss of how to resolve emotional pain. Well, you're on the track that you're discussing it and you're doing things about it and you're bringing it to the surface to allow to find some resolution. And this is how we start. If you suppress it all, guess what? More stagnation. So this is how we do it. We work with it. Is it going to happen overnight? Anybody who tells you that, go that way, because we've never, ever, ever, ever said anything to do in that, Nate. It's a lifestyle. Continual. You got to keep working at it day in and day out. And sometimes you're going to want to give up, and you just got to keep going, even when you feel like giving up. I've been to those situations lots of times. What am I doing this for? Just no, you got to keep going. Keep going. Just keep the challenges. Keep them coming. Whatever. Okay. It's a new lesson to be learned. New lessons to be learned. It's our egos get in the way, man. My ego's so big I would never be able to carry it. My first 108 days, which was 2 years ago now, seems simple compared to the emotional issues I'm dealing with now. And this is what we're saying. As each fast, you strip away the peels of onion. I mean, you're just stripping deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And most people are going to say, oh, yeah, the juice is too acid. They're going to make all the different excuses because of their total ignorance of the seed, emotion. And it's easier to point fingers and blame and whatever, than try and find a resolution to what the seed cause is. Because if we don't deal with these emotions, man, oh man, we're going to be spiraling out to left, right, and center. We're going to go back to eating raw meats or whatever, because that's going to solve your problem. Eating raw meat, that's going to solve your problem. Taking in the emotions of that torture of that animal, being grown up to be killed, murdered, and sacrificed, and that's going to solve your issues. Like, think about that. That's what people are doing. That's what, if you see some people go to those extremes after, from one extreme to another extreme, because they're not ready to deal with the emotional side. I never said I found balance. I said it's a continuous thing, and I keep working at it. I don't give up. No matter what, I keep going. Sometimes, like I said, we all get to those spots you feel like giving up. No, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. What are you going to give up for? We're here for these challenges. We're here to learn, and we make the best of it. The physical things are easy. I bet you 99% of people will agree fasting is simple compared to eating. 99% of people will say that. You got the 1% that have challenges with fasting, but it's because they have severe emotional challenges in their life. That's why you can't fast. It's emotional. It's nothing physical. Even though you're all toxified and everything, why are you all toxified and everything? Because of emotional challenges. We've been bombarding our bodies for years and years and years. We can blame the corporation that dumped all the stuff in our environment. We can blame the government for not cleaning it up, and we can blame the neighbor, we can blame our mother, we can blame our father, we can blame our sister, we can blame our brother, we can blame. Until we look in the mirror of truth, I'm the problem. I'm the problem. And I'll keep working at it. I keep working at it because I understand at least that it's continual. We have to continuously work at this. and deeper and new, more challenging weaknesses will come to the surface when you fast, as you're noticing. Every fast will bring up your weaknesses to the surface. This is the beauty of fasting, to bring it right up into your face, and allows you to ask the proper questions to bring some resolution to these things. Because we can have all these different suggestions and all that, but we all got to find the answers for ourselves. I can't find any answers for anybody. All we can do is use what we call this beautiful roadmap, the MFS, to give us some reference and guidance that we can follow, so we can come to an understanding of what we need to do. And it's all emotional. You know, emotional therapy and all that, does it work? It may work for some. It may help for some people. It's just a release mechanism. Instead of keeping it in, they're releasing. So if we don't release it, it's going to build very strong stagnations in the physical, mental, emotional. So we have to learn to release. And nature, Mother Earth, thank our Mother Earth and thank the wonderful plants. They can take infinite amounts of releases from us. And that's why everybody feels better in nature. Everybody. On a beach, in the sunshine, walking in the woods, walking in the forest, in the snow. You're going to feel better if you're out in nature. I can assure you. You're going to feel better. You get some fresh air, touch the earth, smell the odors. Nature is continuously in the cycle of bringing balance to itself. Continuous. No matter how much man bombards it, and they're doing a good job destroying it, it's always trying to find that balance. Always, always, always. And what does man do? They think they understand and know better, and they interfere with the delicate balance it's trying to bring and make things even worse many of the times. Instead of just letting it be, and they assist it in cleaning up and whatever, but not coming in the ways of redirecting rivers and building dams and all this nonsense stuff that they have no clue of the repercussions. Or killing off insects, or killing off one species because it's getting in the way, because we've overtaken their environment. You know, if you look at it, the answers are always in plain sight. I love the story about, where was it, in the US, where they reintroduced the wolves, and it brought balance back to everything, just reintroducing the wolves. You can read about that story. I don't remember, I don't have memory for all these things, but it was a great thing they did, bringing the wolves back in that zone, and brought balance back to everything. The trees, the rivers, the streams, everything started coming back to balance. And you know, man trying to create and figure that out, good luck. Never gonna understand it. The infinite intricacies that work together, the fields magically bringing that balance. It's all based on plasma. If you really look at the higher order of things, it's always those things, those energies, the subtle energies seeking balance. That's all it is. It's impossible for plasma not to seek balance, because that is creation itself. So let's tap into that. Let's tap into that knowledge. Let's tap into that power. It's available to all of us. How do we tap into it? Well, let's start cleaning the shit out of ourselves. Let's start cleaning up the caca. It's a good start. And it's one that I've seen works with pretty much everyone, if they are willing and able and have the determination to do it. And will they succeed and continue? That's a whole nother story. But it works with everyone. I've not seen it not work. If it's not working, they're not doing. Food was my main vice. I accept that I need to go mostly fruit, but now I know more truth that is all food is a burden. Yeah, what a revelation. Having given up gum chewing, alcohol, caffeine, bad relationships, I find myself spinning out of control, having realized how obstructed my body feels on food. I am triggering into disappointment, knowing that I have lost my last vice. And in that I ate more and more to bury my frustration. Yeah. Okay, so you're understanding, and the answers are coming very clear more and more to you. And this is how we come to the realization that we're on the right track, because the answers are showing up. And this is where we put all our intent and emotion and keep that driving force alive to continue to find balance. Because if we don't, we go into that stagnation zone. And we continue to eat, and we continue to do this, or we continue to whatever. So, there's nothing wrong with eating, but we have to come to terms on keeping enough there to satisfy our pleasure, because that's all eating is. It's a instant, few seconds of pleasure, the actual part of eating, because everything after that, there's no pleasure about it. Your body has to do a lot of work to process it. So the actual pleasure is only those few seconds we chew and swallow, and then it's done. So let's enjoy to its fullest when we eat, but let's learn to love the fasting lifestyle, the actual art of subtraction, the actual living off the subtle energies. Let's learn to love that more, because it does feel so much better when you tap into that. I know it is for me, and so many that have shared. But most of us are not going to be able to stop eating completely forever. It's just not going to happen, and that's okay. No big deal. But we can do it part-time. And by doing it part-time, you're going to be in a lot better state, physically, mentally, and emotionally, if you have that intent and emotion to find balance. If you're looking for MFS as an event, well, good luck to you. Good luck. It's just like any other fad diet and whatever. It's not going to help you much. You're going to feel some temporary things. The good thing is you're going to experience the feeling that you had. You'll never forget it. And maybe a year or 2 or 3 years down the road, you're going to go back. We've seen that over and over. And because we understand now fully and wholeheartedly, emotion is the seed of all creation itself. And the most powerful emotion is the plasma love always flowing. It's the most powerful. It brings balance to everything. So how can we continuously focus on that and be in that state? We make the decision and the choice with all our intent and emotion to do whatever it takes to be in that state all the time. And when we're not in that state, we catch ourselves and we slap ourselves silly. Why am I not in that blissful happiness state? There's no other reason for me not to be. So let me put myself back in this plasma love, always flowing state. And these things sound all simple and things, but because they are, and they're all in front of our face. They're all in the mirror of truth. Finger pointers is one thing that it's challenging to deal with, finger pointers. And, we've all been there, but it's challenging to deal with. It's very challenging for me, because no matter how much compassion we have for finger pointers, we can't help them. We can't help them. We can have the whole planet, all 7+ billion people, have compassion for that one soul. And if they don't make that choice to help themselves, what can we do? All that compassion is great and wonderful. Yes, we can have compassion for people, but without action and responsibility for ourselves, I don't see much changing. There's always a new fad, a new marketing hype for this, that, and the other detox. A dime a dozen. But, MFS is not the only way, but my goodness gracious, what people have been able to achieve is incredible, mind-boggling. But with the new understanding, we understand that everything is possible. Everything's possible. Just persevere and allow the process to take place, and don't resist it. Be like water, like Bruce Lee said. Become the glass. And just any resistance in martial arts, you'll be dead. You can't resist. You need to flow with the energies. So these are all known things that have been taught through the ages from masters and gurus and so on and so forth. Living it and being it is a whole different ballgame. Whole different ballgame. We got more here. Preparing food for kids all day long has been very challenging. I find myself wanting to fill myself as I feed my kids. Yep. I didn't want the pleasure experience of the taste, the heaviness, the excitement to end. Yeah, it's just, that's when I started doing many long fasts. I used to watch a lot of cooking shows, the cooking channel back then when I used to have a TV. And I would watch it for hours sometimes. That was very satisfying. I would watch all kinds of cooking shows. I didn't care. It didn't matter. I was raw vegan, whatever. I watched everything. I was just interested in the art of it and how people put all their heart and emotion into it. This master chefs, what is it? They're putting all their intent and emotion into the food. And that's passed through. That's what a good chef is. The motherly love. She's passing that through the food, right, that she prepares. Most powerful is the plasma love, right? That's why that food is so addictive that we grew up on. Because we're missing that plasma love from our mother or whoever prepared our food, if we had that privilege. And if we didn't, it was just because we came into the realm that we have already experienced that, and we want to experience a little bit more challenges in our lives. So we have to accept that as well. Making do with the higher order of things, we open up a whole new realm of reasons of things, of who, what, where, when, why. If we just keep looking at the physical things, we get stuck in that realm. So many are stuck in the what's it called? The tests, blood tests, and this test, and X-rays, and MRIs, and they really believe that those things are going to help them. They really do. I haven't seen them help anybody because they're only focusing on physical, and the physical is not the problem, as we've all understood now. So why focus on something that's not going to help you in any way, shape, or form? Yeah, you broke your arm. You see the X-ray, the arm is broken. Okay, so how are you going to solve that problem? And I'm just, it has its purpose. It has its purpose. Emergency situations, great. You've been in an accident. No better place to be than an emergency in ER. But then get the hell out of there as quick as you can and go home and heal. So yeah, I've made some strides, but I feel like I have two separate lives. One person who the world sees who is strong and encouraging and hopeful, and the other who is on the edge of madness, hopelessness, and feels alone. Yep. Been there, done that. Been there, done that many times. Do I give up? I'm still here. 33 decades later. 3 decades later, and more challenges come into our lives. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? So the universe says, you've done so well, I'm going to throw you some more challenges so you can be even stronger. How's that? And then I'm going to put even more on your plate. If it was only the physical, do 108 days, everything's solved, right? Gone, done. And I see and we hear what's out there. And the stuff they say about MFS, it just boggles my mind that the ignorance is still so vast. But also there's agendas, marketing and stuff out there. So that's a different scenario that we can look at because if we don't come to the realization that this is a lifelong, it's not a battle, it's a lifelong, elegant dance to continuously find that balance, continuously find your footing. And whatever comes your way, you're just always trying to find the balance. If we don't come to that understanding, then you're just, blowing in the wind. And I have some wonderful swampland on the moon to sell you. If you believe all the other stuff that's out there. Now, there's some good stuff out there. I'm not knocking things, but we have to come to the realization of what is the root cause. We know it's the GI tract, no problem. But the reason the GI tract has those challenges is because of the emotion, which locks up into the physical. It actually locks it up in our physical body. It locks up and creates these stagnations, so we can feel that. And every time there's a physical, there's a mental and emotional along with it. It's tied. So, somebody, oh, my neck's stiff. I must have slept wrong. Yeah, okay, you can believe that. But what's the emotional reason that there's stiffness there, there's stagnation there? That's where we have to go. So we keep peeling the layers and we find more and more dirt. The more we peel, the more we find, because we're not dealing with only our own, we're dealing with lineage, the whole ancestral imbalances we come from, we're a part of. We can't separate it. It's a possibility. We can't separate from the whole realm of creation because we're all part of it. But directly we're involved through our lineage. We have all those challenges to deal with. Like Sadhguru said, I bet you don't know what your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather looked like, but his nose is sitting on your face. Or whatever. So the answers are always in plain sight. So I have started daily yoga practice, sometimes twice a day. Awesome. And I have worked with my breathing together with that. Awesome. The difference is incredible as soon as I'm doing it. Awesome. I have an intense new connection to how an empty vessel of a body moves freely and breathe deeply. Awesome. I'm trying to see how this is the gift I give myself and to continue this motion as I truly pays back in dividends. Exactly. And that's what we focus on. When all these little obstructions that present themselves in our way, we have to focus on what you just wrote. Never mind all these little obstructions, because you can dust them off and move them out of the way so they flow. So we have to focus on the stuff that we know that brings us that balance, the peace. And that's why I said, if you want to heal, go into nature, anywhere, and be by yourself. Go there for a few months. Tell me if you don't feel better. And some of us will maybe jump the fence because we figure it's enough of experiences and goodbye, Jack. And we leave this realm and go beyond to the other realms. But I can assure you, you would leave in a peaceful state if you're in nature. When you're in the resistant state, it's not cool. It's not a good transition. You know, we've heard the stories of people transitioning wonderfully, and we've heard the horror stories, you know, somebody being murdered, for instance, or whatever. But in the higher order of things, how cruel it may sound, there was probably a reason to experience that. How do we know? How do we know? You have to look at the higher order of things. It's how horrible it all is. There's higher order of things, and I'm no one to judge. But interfering with others is not one thing that I want to associate with, or hurting or harming anything else. We try to avoid that at all costs, with correct conduct and so on and so forth. So you have lots that you're working with. You've come leaps and bounds, and all the little new obstructions, stagnations that's come to the surface are just going to make you stronger. If you continue on the path of peace, balance, and correct conduct, that's all we have to focus on. Anytime something comes up, am I in peace, balance, and correct conduct with this situation? Keep asking yourself that question. And when there's challenges, I can assure you that we're not in that state. I'll be the first in line. You know, I'm far, far, far from perfect, but I'm so stubborn, I keep going. You know, like I once stated, perfection in this realm is impossible. But the quest to remember perfection through the soul from source is possible. Because creation cannot be anything but perfect. It's our understanding that is lacking of what actually the purposes of everything going on. That's all it is. Creation's perfect. How does the universe continuously operate in all the orbits and so on? Perfection. How does that happen if it wasn't perfect? If it was just a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction off, everything would be chaos. Everything would collide and destroy each other. And we don't see that in the universe. So we only see it in this realm with man. Man is the one who brings all these, all the chaos. And once we come to the realization that we are the conductor, composer, and creator all in one, we can change things. So everything's wonderful. As we find, as we touch and smell and taste how good it could be, we're going to go to more extremes. Meaning, when you're in a stagnant ball, you're sick, miserable, and in pain. That's all you are. And you continuously to dwell in that. Once you start breaking free the stagnations by clearing, we start going over to the realm of being stagnant-free, pain-free, and the mind gets clear and so on and so forth. And then, for whatever reason, because of our environmental triggers, we start pulling back towards that stagnant ball again. And we go to the other extreme of wanting to hurt ourselves even more. Because it can't be that good. So I have to abuse myself a little more. And then we know how to get to that state again, so we go to that state again. Oh, Yeah, it wasn't an illusion. This is amazing. It's awesome. And then we come to the realization with all their environmental triggers that it can't be this good. And we go back and we keep swinging the pendulum. But the pendulum is swinging. It's when the pendulum stops swinging, that's when you got real challenges. And we've seen some of those pendulums not moving at all, hardly. It's always a little bit moving, otherwise you're dead. But the more that pendulum's swinging, the more we will find the resolution, because in the universe, there is no stagnation. It's always in motion. So we need to keep that pendulum swinging, you know. Sometimes it's going to get erratic, and it's okay, but we need to find that balance. So we enjoy our food. We go into the little realm of a little bit of stagnation, then we swing back. Okay, I got my fasting state, and we go back to the food, a little bit of instead of the huge swing. So we have to find the balance in everything, and that's the challenges with everybody that I've seen, to find that balance. And it's okay, but we're working at it, and we continue and continue and continue. We don't give up. We always put that intent and emotion that less is more. We understand less is more, because the food is never going to resolve these challenges. I don't care what you eat. It's hard to forgive ourselves for what happens as the pendulum swings. Well, if you believe it's hard, yeah. And we will punish ourselves because it can't be that good, right? That's what it is. Because our environment dictates outcome. And everybody in our environment is in pain, misery, and suffering. And that's influencing us continuously. Even if you close your eyes, it's still there. That's why if you're in the city, I don't care how clean and everything you eat, you're going to be influenced by all these things until you can get yourself in a state of what we call higher field strength, where instead of them influencing you, you start influencing them. And that's being the change you want to see, by raising your field strength, not your vibration. We don't talk about that. We've mentioned that before. We're raising our field strength. How do we raise our field strength? We live in peace, balance, correct conduct. We remove all the obstruction physically, blah, 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 to get to these states and allow the process to unfold. So the forgiveness, come to realization that we make mistakes, and we accept it and move on. The first one we need to forgive is ourselves for all the things we've done, but forgiveness to others as well. Because forgiveness to others is forgiveness to ourselves. So that pendulum will continue to swing. And don't focus on it being a resistance in your life, or an obstacle. It's actually, when you understand this, it's actually the state where you want to be. You want to be in that smooth swinging pendulum. And it's okay, it goes erratic sometimes, because from these erraticness, these extreme states, we'll be able to find more balance, because it's all wonderful. Let me just send a message here, I don't know if I can. One sec.
One thing about, I know you're busy, Gino, but I can talk to the others. One thing I love about forgiveness, as you said, you forgive yourself. But I like, in most cases, taking it a step further and actually forgetting. So when you've gone the process of, forgiving, to actually forget, just has always helped me personally to release a lot quicker. It's that little extra step after forgiveness that you go through. that process. Forgiving is, because as you said, it's about forgiving yourself in the first instance. It's got nothing to do with the other person, and I think we all know that. But when you actually forget the whatever it is, the event or the situation and all that, then it's gone. It's gone out of your body when you do the forgetting. I don't know if other people have had that experience, but in certain situations I had to do that so that I could, feel that freedom when you do that forgetting.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's I don't see anybody out there has all the answers, but we continuously work at this. We continuously acknowledge what the challenges are. It's all emotional, and yeah, a lot of people selling snake oil in all forms. This is why the few of the few of the few will ever live this type of lifestyle, because they're continuously looking for snake oil, their diet or whatever, to solve their challenges. They're not addressing the seed causes. So it's just
so the MFS lifestyle is you are right. I mean, I never used to believe you when you said the few would do this. I actually used to think, well, when people jump at it,
it's too powerful. It's too powerful.
Yeah,
it goes right to the seed cause, and people can't handle it. We thousands have showed us they can't handle it.
Yeah.
Can't handle it.
And the ones that are fasting now have done the previous 108 days, the long fast, or even the 40 or 60 have done that a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, I
these are the doers.
Yeah, but I never knew, that like, I never knew it was such deep stuff. Like, we do our mindset work. We do, you evolve and you create wisdom as you, being in the physical realm. But, which also has the other side of it as well, because you've got all the conditioning and the program, paradigms and all that sort of stuff. And you've got more onion layers to peel off, right? But when you go into doing a long MFS, man, you just grind in. It's like you're in. And, don't stop yourself, because you'll open that door, like what you said. It's just like 108 days is like opening the door, and it is, because you just get a peek at something that's just beautiful, and a way to see how you can get freedom for yourself and live this human experience. It's just like, you don't know until you're actually in it, doing it. And, it's an absolute complete blessing and grace and all. That's why, how can you not do it again? I to myself, I've got to do it again, because I've been eating, and I prefer, like you say. It's good fasting.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's why I never stop. That's the one thing that always brought me back to some balance. Without fasting, I'd be dead a long time ago. It's the one savior I kept.
And thank God you did.
Yeah, I've not seen many people with a lot of years of true fasting experience out there. It's I only speak through my experience of everything I talk about. Like, I can't speak for anything else. So the fasting is your reset always. So if whatever, like when you're in a long MFS, most people, like I said, have no challenges. A little bit here and there with healing reaction, no big deal. But they get into the states of bliss and feeling great, and everything is so much easier because you have much less things to do, more time, and so on and so forth, less sleep, and then you go back to the eating, and holy jeez, was it this hard? And all everything starts coming down because of all the triggers around. But you can stay on MFS if you want. You don't need to go back to food. You go to skin and bones? Maybe. And if you do, you're not going to stay there if you continue. If, but you have to come to the understanding that only the body can feed, hydrate, build, balance, heal itself through soul from source. You got to come to that understanding. Or you will die when you don't eat, right? You will die. Most people will die if they don't eat. So this is something we need to work on if we choose continuously to restructure that belief system that's been programmed deep within our whole lineage for who knows how many generations, maybe thousands of years. I don't know. Who knows? Continuously work at it and allow the process to take place. Anybody else want to share anything? I think I got everything here. I wish there was a simple answer for everybody, but the simple answer is fast. But it's not an easy path. The things that we need to do are simple, but the path is very challenging for people. Simple to follow. Once you're in that routine, so on and so forth, it's no big deal.
I mean, the more you do it, Gino, because you've been fasting for over 30 years, right? The more you do fasting, the easier it is, isn't it? The easier that it becomes. Because I'm finding this easy. I know it's simple, like the way you've done your
it is like to do fasts, no big deal, whatever, 5, 10 day, 12-day dry fast, okay. But you go in cycles sometimes to get yourself in those states to go back to the fasting, just like anything, because we allow the environments to influence us, and that's the biggest challenge, right? That's the biggest challenge for everybody, because we all know, without doubt, you go in nature, you're going to heal. If you're isolated, you're going to heal. It's just the way nature is, or you will die. This is the way the nature is designed to continuously keep the lineages of species alive and strong. They have to continue to find balance, and the weaknesses get weeded out. So, for humans, we have a brain, and we're supposed to be more intelligent, but the free will part of our brain, our mind, it seems to get in the way, and is why this planet is in shambles through the man's greed for control and for whatever other reasons, enslavement of others, the whole money system and so on and so forth, and et cetera, et cetera. We work with it because this is what we're doing here, but is it necessary? No other species uses that. Everything is free for all. You use what you absolutely need, no more. There's no want, need. this, and that, the other thing. It's everything is used by necessity but absolutely, there's no waste. They don't kill for the fun of it, et cetera, et cetera. But nature's also has the influence of man's emotion, as the whole animal kingdom is a reflection of man's emotion, and man is interfering with all these species, environments, and so on and so forth. So probably in today's day, the whole wild animal kingdom, there's probably nowhere that has not been influenced by man, actual physically, emotionally for sure. It's that, it's all been affected. And we can't even go by what's natural anymore because it's all been affected. So, monkey see, monkey do. Monkeys are doing things they probably never did a few centuries ago or whatever, or 1,000 years ago. How do we ever know? It's answers in plain sight for me. You affect the environment, you're going to bring changes to that, whatever's in that environment. How can you not? You cut down all the trees. What are the animals going to do? The ones that need those certain trees to survive, what are they going to do? You're going to affect them. So everything you put in your mouth is going to affect you. How doctors have been saying for years, eating has no effect on your diseases. Oh my goodness, how ignorant can that be? You're putting things in your mouth 3 times a day and it doesn't affect you. And then they say, oh, yeah, eating has nothing to do. Here, take these pills, eat them. What? It's hypocritical. They're feeding you something. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm eating these. It doesn't have an effect on me? Oh, yeah, but these are drugs. Well, what do you mean? The food that I eat 3 times a day has no effect? Yeah, absolutely not. But the drugs do. Okay, sure. I believe you. See you later. The answers are in plain sight. This is what I'm talking about. How can you not see these things? And I don't know, majority of people don't see it because they're lining up to go get these things. They're lining up. Oh, because the system pays for it. It's free. So I'm going to go that system. Natural, I don't know. I'll take that system because they want somebody else to take care of their challenges and so on and so forth. It's what are the drugs going to do? They're going to numb you out, and suppress, and cause more obstructions and so on and so forth. Side effects are endless. Is there a purpose for drugs? Absolutely. Absolutely. Emergency situations. Yeah. Anesthesia and so on and so forth. You wouldn't want them putting you back together after you've been torn up in a car accident without anesthesia. So everything has a purpose. But, if we remove the dollar sign from that system, you'd see everything change. If we remove profit from that system, everything would change. But in the meantime, we all exchange energy, and we use energy exchange in the form of money or whatever. And that's what we do now until we come to the point to realize that we don't need to be enslaved. We'll keep using it. And there's nothing wrong with it, really, but it is a form of enslavement. If you really look at in black and white, you can't see it any other way. No species has passports to cross borders. Birds don't have a passport when they cross a border, or an ant, or any other animal. They don't need a passport. Some of them may get shot, but it's only because of man's greed. And when we start to look at the higher order of things, maybe things will change. So let's continuously working on the change we want to see. Have you ever heard of someone with poor night vision having improper sight after the removal of obstructions? Poor night vision. Anything can happen. It depends on what you're doing in between the moving the obstructions, because when we punish ourselves, or whatever you want to call it, when we eat things we're not supposed to be eating after we've cleaned ourselves, the body becomes much more sensitive, and it can affect you in that way, sort of things. But also, the other part of it is things are changing, and when you're fasting, for me, in a fast, change is good news. Anything that changes, you're moving obstructions, and what may seem to be getting poorer or worse is just to not understanding of what's going on, the intricacies of how the body's dealing with it. I know the time where I was doing the sun gazing, I was eating high fats, and all of a sudden my nearsighted vision was gone, all blurry, couldn't read no more. After, I can't remember what day it was, I was somewhere in around 30 something minutes or a day of sun gazing. And I could have quit, but I have a new understanding now of what happened. It wasn't the sun gazing. It was all the fats I was eating, causing so much obstructions. I got a lot of my vision back, quite a bit. I can read. If it's not too small, I can read it. But before it was completely blurry. I couldn't read anything. So, and I had 20/20 vision before it. But the high fats did a number on my vision, my teeth, my hair. So the fasting is what resolved and continues to resolve these things. The food never resolved any of it. Food always brought and brings more challenges to the physical, mental, and emotional states. Yeah, we can enjoy the meal, and like I said, it's over in a few seconds. But when you're in these blissful states, it's timeless. There's no time. It's you don't recognize time. It really becomes timeless, and you start wanting to jump up and down and tell the whole world, but the world's not listening. A few people will catch on and take the bull by the horns. So yeah, just continue working with the eyes, herb eye washes and stuff, eye exercises. Continuously move the colon, liver. If you're having emotional issues, anger stored in the liver, will affect the eyesight. We're always going back to emotion. So physically, there's always areas where we hold on to things for every different emotion. I don't know if somebody ever did. There's Louise Hay book. I think Louise Hay. Which one is it? There's a book about all the things that we feel emotionally and how they manifest in the physical body. I think I can't remember.
No, I think you're right, Gino. It is Louise Hay.
Yeah,
Heal yourself.
Louise Hay. You can heal your life.
Yeah.
It's in here. You can punch it in on the internet. Emotional healing, blah blah blah. Louise Hay, and we'll come up with a list of stuff and why these things.
My eyes got really blurry towards going into the second month of the break. Gino, my eyes are fantastic during fasting, but I think you're right. It connects to the emotions more than anything else, the obstructions and the emotion stuff. And my eyes got really, like one day I woke up, I couldn't hardly see, like it was really blurry.
Yeah. This person has redness on her feet that has never been thought to be linked to her liver. Somebody else you're talking about. Yeah, if we focus on all the physical things, we're going to get caught in that. But we know the resolution to fast it out and bring the balance. And the obstructions are going to move out. Just a matter of time. But if a person's not ready to let go of the obstruction, they break their fast. If emotionally, they're not ready. They will break their fast. There'll be all the excuses of, the healing reactions are too overwhelming, this, that, and the other thing, but it's not physical, it's emotional. They're just not ready to release that caca. That's what I find. And I've been there, and we continue to work through these challenges. But if you persevere, you'll see that these obstructions will be released, and they will find the balance. Will you maintain that balance afterwards? It all depends on how strong your intent and emotion is to continuously live in balance. It's not something that's the norm these days to live in balance with nature and so on and so forth. We have a few Aboriginals around the world that are still doing it to some degree, but in modern societies, there's not much balance all around us. It's everything against the operations of nature and the universe. Clustering things in certain areas and so on and so forth. It's, the cities. If you look at a city from a satellite distant, it looks like a cancer cell. So, how do we bring balance to the cancer cell? Plasma love always flowing. Cancer can't live in that area. Cancer is a lifestyle. Thoughts on what we are seeing when there appears to be an oil slick on collected urine. These are usually petrochemicals through either pharmaceuticals or through the environment. And the body will release them, especially through fasting. That's the best way to release them. Besides fasting, herbs, this, that, and the other thing, you're only going to go so far. I've seen ozone. Ozone's pretty powerful, but you're relying on the external things when you're ignoring the emotional seed, because you're trying to find something to fix your problem. We can use these tools. They're all wonderful. All the wonderful tools we have listed. We can use them to assist us. And they are very important, especially in today's toxic man, to assist us. And use them all. Use the tools. But understand that fasting is where you're going to see the magic happen to bring the balance. And that's where you see the people with some genetic things they were born with got corrected through the fasting. Right? Never ever before they were able to do that. Why? Because they never fasted. And if they did fast, they didn't fast properly and or long enough, and didn't understand how to do it. And this is where, the magic of the herbs, which very few understand, how powerful these elevated souls are and how they work in the physical, mental, and emotional bodies, assisting us, and why they're essential and crucial on an MFS. Because people that don't understand that, this is just their ignorance on how powerful MFS really is. And few people paid the price that didn't listen. They believed they knew better. Okay. take a risk. Not in our group. See you later. I don't want to deal with people like that. Not that I know better, but I can speak through experience at least, not through ignorance. So that's all I can speak through, because I've been there and I've done that, and that's why I'm so we're so adamant and persistent that this is a system. Use all the parts and use all the tools, because even though you don't understand what they're doing, use them and let them do their work. It's not a facade. They're not there because I pulled them out of a hat. It's decades and wonderful masters and teachers that I've learned from, decades of experiences. And we're still learning. We're continuously learning through everybody's experiences. And it's wonderful that we can all share. But when you start seeing things like this, you know, things being released out of the urine, the skin, the feces, the nose, the hair, the ears, the eyes, these are all good signs. You don't want to keep them in. You know, I've seen people complain that their mucus is running for weeks. You want to keep it? Stop fasting, start eating. So jump for joy. You've broken open the dam. Let it flow. So this is the difference between understanding and ignorance. It's just the ignorance is chosen to be, it's a choice that we choose to stay in that ignorance instead of understanding through everybody else's experience that went through it, and reading and listening. People choose the ignorance part. And all they do is complain. Some of them. And that's okay. It's okay. One day, hopefully, the understanding comes. As long as they put the effort and gain the experiences, the understanding will come if you're open to that. A lot of people fasted out there. A lot of people teaching fasting. I haven't seen many, very, 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 very few that really understand how powerful fasting is and how to do it properly. I haven't seen it. You know, before MFS, before we started sharing MFS, I was on a lot of groups, and I just stayed quiet because it wasn't time for me to share. And I just said, my goodness gracious, I can help this person. I can help that person. I can help that person. But I wasn't ready. It wasn't time until the universe kicked my butt and said, start sharing. But and what I'm trying to say is the support system is crucial. The MFS support system is one of the crucial key ingredients in sharing in this kind of setting where everybody interacts and allows that stagnation to flow. Giving. The mucus list.
Can I add to that?
Sure.
Do you mind if I add to that? Because I did, like most people here, they probably did a lot of research on fasting. Like I did heaps, and they all talk about physical, right? They talk about, you know, weight loss and, you know, do this for 10 days and this happens, and then they don't support, you know, that's what you want. No one ever, ever, ever really, truly talked about the soul or the spiritual part of it. Like you get it in some of the, you know, the Eastern stuff. They kind of mention it. Sadhguru mentions it. They kind of mention it. Yeah, they don't go in deep with it, right? And we know, like I didn't know this. I didn't know fasting was a way to get, you know, really truly connected to the spiritual part of it, because that's where the soul is and that's where everything happens. Now I know by doing MFS, because information gets revealed to you. But what happens with this group is the support, because you're attracting the right realm to come through, and it's supporting other people. And then if people are willing to tap into the journey of the soul through fasting, I mean, there's all, like what you said, there's all your answers in plain sight. And nobody goes in as deep as what MFS does, the realm of MFS, the creation of this. No one does. There isn't anything. I haven't seen it. You can't talk to your neighbor, or you can't talk to anyone else about it. It's just, this is a place where we can all talk about it. And there's a few people here already fasting. You've got Margaret here. Here she is here. Look, look at that beautiful soul. 86 or something in the physical realm and living this lifestyle. It's just incredible. It's just a really, really amazing support structure with the group and having these Zoom calls and feeling it. And, it sets me up every week coming on here. Every week I reset my intentions. I do it every week because it's just too powerful not to do it.
Yeah, it's all, you can do it all alone. It's fine and dandy if you're able to handle all that, the environment that you live in. If you're able to do it, it's fine. But I haven't found many that can do it. It's very, very challenging. Very challenging. So support system is crucial. Lisa, the mucusless diet or even mucus lean with a daily dry, 15-hour dry fast daily has been very good for those not on MFS that I know. Yeah, well, where did they get that from? we put in the system, and everybody's came here to take. It's, there's hardly any pocket. It was very difficult to find anything on dry fasting before we started sharing MFS. Very difficult. Few things here and there you would be able to find. Now it's all over the place. But I can assure you that 15-hour daily dry fast, eating 7 days a week, you're gonna have very, very challenging time trying to correct genetic issues and so on and so forth, and the real depth of this stuff, because we understand it's emotional. And how do you get it to the emotion? You give your digestive system a long vacation. Many people can make up all the excuses you want. Fasting is dangerous. Fasting is this, right? It's all done through ignorance because they haven't done it and they have no clue what it really is and where the seed lies in the emotion. So we praise, it's good, wonderful. The dry fasting's gotten out there in a structured way. Your dailies, your weekly, your monthly, your season change. This is your lifestyle must have that in it. If you don't have any of that dry fasting to continuously reset when you're eating, go back to 7 days a week and good luck. Good luck eating 7 days a week. I don't care what you eat. Fasting is dangerous. Eating is dangerous in my book. Eating is the most dangerous thing we do because we do it every single day. Continuously bombard ourselves. Any meal could be your last meal. Like we look at, for example, not to ridicule or make fun of people or anything, but you look at some of these obese cases and you wonder how miraculously designed the human body is for it to be able to take that punishment year after year after year and still survive. And I'm just giving that one example, but there's many examples we can look at, or whatever they call diseases or all that. And, years before it finally, collapses and ceases to function. It's just, there's no machine that man creates that can do that. You abuse a machine, it's gone, it's destroyed. Try not changing the oil in your engine in your car and see how long it lasts, for example, or whatever. Or put some wrong fuel in there or whatever. Yeah, obesity, disease, vaccination. Yeah, this is the norm these days. So let's bring some balance to everything. Let's send them some plasma love. That's the most powerful most powerful emotion. Plasma love always flowing. We will see much more amazing things come forth in the next several years with plasma. We call it technology, but it's just what it is just gaining the understanding of creation itself, even if it's just a fraction of it, a scratch of it, and you see the miracles happening. What we understand now, because we look like mirrors, but because we don't have a full understanding. But once we start gaining the understanding, we see that they're not miracles. It's just get in line with the operations of the universe, and you'll see that happen. It's just the laws of it. You know, allow the plasmas to balance out, and you see the magic happen. Spiral inwards is the key to bring balance to yourself. But how often is everyone connected to nature? You know, you'll see that most people that are in a fixed situation or whatever, they probably have not been connected with nature for decades. You know, you just pull away and get further and further. They don't even touch the earth. Look at children these days. How many of them are playing outside? You know, in modern societies, very few. They're on their phones or computers.
Hey, Gina, I'm not going anywhere, but I'm just going to step outside because you're talking about nature. I'm on the Sunshine Coast, and we've had this cyclone that's been sitting off the Coral Sea. It's been really windy, and I'm just want to show people just the greenery, and you can actually see the ocean behind me. So I'm just going to video out, but I'll video back in about 30 seconds.
Sure. Anybody else want to share something?
Yeah, I'd like to share something.
Yes.
The last couple of weeks, the dry fast the weekly dry fast has been pretty challenging. I'm getting incredible kidney pain in about 20 hours. I was shooting for 60 hours this weekend. I made about 40. I had to break it.
Yeah. There's lots going on in that area. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Are you massaging them?
Yep.
Yeah. The pain can be intense. I've been through a lot of severe kidney pains over the years, a lot, crippling pains.
Oh yeah, it was almost. I have to lay down.
Yeah. So, did you have any shooting pain going down the legs or anything?
No, just, it's all localized right in the kidney areas, both sides.
Yeah, well, use the tools. Castor oil packs would help. 3 days on, 3 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off. You can put a pinch of cayenne, a few drops of turpentine if you have, to do castor oil packs. They really help with people. You can do hot and cold, but kidneys cold, man. It's unless you have like a sciatic nerve type of thing, you can try the hot and cold, but always end with ice. So it allows the cool down the area, like chemistry wise, it cools it down, the cold.
Thank you.
Breath work. Continue doing the back exercises, things. You need to keep the area open and flowing. I know it's very painful, but when I was last time I was in Venezuela, I had a sciatic nerve thing happen. It was in 2013. And oh my goodness gracious, because usually I would go to a chiropractor. this was just go to chiropractor to just do an adjustment and work from that. So there's no chiropractors there, and all I had is ice to work with and yoga. So go on the beach, limping and doing my yoga, whatever moves I can do. Some of them I had to force a little bit, with some pain and so on and so forth. But every day getting better and better and better. And then one guy comes up, "Hey man, you're getting better." Yeah. Because you see me doing the yoga every day on the beach, but you just got to work with it. It'll pass. It's just what starts happening in the body anytime there's like cramping or tightness or thing. The body's trying to move out very stubborn obstructions in those areas, and it's not fun, and it can be painful. So we just try and assist it. That's why you massage it deep, keep energy moving in those areas, and you just use some of the tools to keep the energy moving and flowing. But this is not uncommon. How you resolve this? Continue fasting. Raw food didn't decade of raw foodism, strict raw foodism did not solve my kidney challenges. So it's when I started getting into the dry fasting, even though I was fasting all those years and eating very clean, my kidneys always had challenges. It was until I understood that we had to get into a complete true fast, which is dry fasting, and allow the body to start feeding, hydrating, building, balancing itself, et cetera, et cetera. The revelation and the understanding truly come, and the relief of my kidneys like never before. I shared it before. I got the most amazing release of my kidneys on my first 12-day dry fast experience, and that was an amazing time. So that's what we work towards. Do it a little at a time over the years. Set your goal out there, 12, 15-day dry fast. It's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen next month. It's not going to happen in a year. Who cares? Slowly but surely, we work toward that, and we don't do it on master fast. We do it when we go back to eating, because it's just too powerful on master fast to do. The long dries and the juice and the herbs and all that. So Ranjit, is that nature?
Yeah, did you like it?
Awesome.
We've got this cyclone called Omar, O-M-A, off the Coral Coast, and lucky didn't hit. It was so close to hit, but we've had 3 days of blistering wind and hanging out for the rain, because we need some rain here. And yeah, so I'm actually up high. I don't know if you could see the beach, but it's a bit cloudy to see the ocean, and it's very choppy. So they're warning people not to go surfing, and because we get a lot of tourists on the Sunshine Coast, and if you don't know what riffs are and all that sort of stuff, you can get called out. And even experienced surfers, there was a couple down in Byron Bay that like 40 years of experience surfing, they got caught and they died. So it's, well, at least they died with what they love, I suppose. They passed over with what they truly love. But yeah, it's interesting. What you say about nature, Gino, it's so powerful. It's a tool that we have in order to focus on other things, rather than, focus on the good stuff that we've got on this human experience, and to love that more and be in that more than anything else, because the other stuff, it just catches you into a vortex. But there's so much beauty out there. There's so much love, and I forgot about that until I started fasting. Long fast, and I missed that in my break for 2 months, where I actually started to go back into some of my old patterns. And I thought, no way in the world are you going to entrap me again. I've got a way to experience complete bliss, and nature is very, very powerful. like this week I'll go down to the beach and I'll put my feet in the sand and in the ocean because, you know, I want to experience that in a fasted state. I haven't experienced that in a fasted state yet. So that'll be beautiful. So thanks for allowing me to share that with you. I really appreciate you all watching it and seeing it. And hope it gives you some value to start your week, and you have the best week ever, in the realm of MFS.
Awesome. Yeah, that's one of the main ingredients that's missing in a lot of people that live in cities is nature. You know, no matter how little time you can spend, cherish it, because that's going to really help you and bring balance. It's that connection. No matter what weather, don't make excuses for the weather. You know, if it's snowstorm, go shovel the snow. And feel the wind and the cold and the snow. It's all part of it. You will feel better after you shovel a lot of driveways. We like the warmth, but cold is your warm friend, as Wim Hof says. A man with many world records. Shows everything's possible. Where's your focus? You can do anything. Anybody else?
I'd like to hear from Margaret if she can. Like, I wanted to find out how you went with your eye surgery, or you were going to have the eye surgery. Or...
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to bring out, you were talking about nature. We have a fisher bird. We have a pond in our condo development here. And the bird actually goes in the pond and fishes out the fish. And it just throws it on the side of the bank and lets the fish go up and down. And we were trying to figure out if those fish, the fish he takes out of the pond, he doesn't eat and nobody eats it. It must be a wild fish that shouldn't even be there.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And I scavengered the grapefruit and the oranges off the land too this last week. Nobody was picking them or eating them. They're just dropping on the ground. So I went out there and picked the tree. And I thanked the tree for giving me the fruit.
Awesome.
But I also noticed there was 2 trees out in the yard. It's quite a big yard, of course, with the condo development. Had mistletoe on them. And the mistletoe actually kills the tree because it sucks all the juice from the tree and kills the tree. And there's 2 trees in the yard that are dying because of the mistletoe.
Interesting.
I guess we don't need mistletoe, do we?
Mistletoe is it's used. I can't remember what it's for. If you look it up, herb as a herb, it's got uses.
Yeah. I forget what it's for.
Yeah, there's uses for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to check on that.
There's nothing in nature that we can't use.
I know.
Every single thing, even all the poisons and toxins and so on and so forth, they all can be used. It's just knowing what to do with them and how to use them. And if you don't know, just stay away from those ones.
Yeah.
They can't kill you.
Yeah. I have 2 more weeks of chemicals that I have to put in my eye. And every time I put it in my eye, I can taste it in my mouth. And I thought, oh, that's not too good. But I don't want to not use it.
Why don't you just use the herbs?
I'm not sure. I kind of hesitated to use the herbal drops. I was going to do that with my good eye this next week. It's been 4 weeks of surgery, so I figured I can start using the other.
Yeah, I'd be doing eye washes with the, the herbs every day, even twice a day.
This isn't an eye wash. This is a bacterial side and for infection.
Dry fast, Margaret, and do eye washes.
I dry fasted 2 days this week.
Awesome.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I had a little tea in between time, kidney tea.
Yeah.
And I sipped it here and there.
Infection comes from within, not from out.
Yeah.
It's an outfection. Remember that. When people get infections, it's actually an outfection. The body's trying to push out the crap. It's just the body's in such a state of, whatever you want to call it. It's just too much for the body to handle. And you get these infections. And any little thing, any little bug, you get an infection. Any little cut, you get an infection. I worked with steel a lot, and I used to get cut a lot, working with cars and steel and machines. And I fasted a lot. But I remember prior to fasting, I've gotten a few infections here and there. Once I started the fasting lifestyle, I don't remember any infections. I never used to keep my wounds closed unless they were really bad, just to protect them temporarily. I always kept them open. And people would say, aren't you going to cover that thing? No, it heals fast, they're open. No infections. No infections. So you keep fasting lifestyle. The infection thing, it's another one of those theories that holds no water unless you live that lifestyle. So let the fear go. You can taste the eye drops because you can taste the eye drops. They're going into your body, and especially after a long MFS, all your senses wake up. And the more you use this stuff, you got to understand these things suppress, and they get locked up inside of our physicality, and they're going to have to be detoxed out through fasting. So if people let fear ruin them, like we had Marin, who did a major lung surgery while he was on MFS because he had all burnt lung tissue. You can hear his story, his interview. And they had to remove the lung tissue. It was all burnt because they gave him way too much chemo. And he was getting severe pain. So he went to the hospital, and that's when they operated on an emergency operation. Anyway, what did he do? As soon as he woke up, refused everything. They thought he was crazy. 13-day dry fast in the hospital. No infection, no inflammation. 13 days. He had to check himself out because they were getting on his case because he wasn't listening to anything they wanted to do. He refused everything. Did he get an infection? No. His urine was coming out so heavy in sediment. The doctors were freaking. They were threatening him this and that, telling him his kidneys were going to fail. They sent it to the lab, and the lab report comes in his favor. Kidneys are working amazing. Isn't that amazing? So, we let fear rule us and run us. But Marin's been through 2 major surgeries. Did the same thing both times. Dry fasted in the hospital right after the surgery. No painkiller, no nothing. He said the catheters they had put for lung drainage, he goes, when they pulled that out, he goes, the pain was undescribable. But he didn't want any painkiller. And they thought he was mental. But he just went in and went into that and said that, he refused it because he knew that anything they added to him was going to only be adding to the problem. Because they butchered him for so many years. He didn't want any more of that. Why he allowed the surgery, it's another thing. But it's interesting once you understand and let go of the fear. Infection is the last thing you should ever be fearful of. We have so many things we can use to assist, right?
Well, they also wanted you to put drops in your eyes to keep your eyes lubricated. And every time I've used them in past times, my eyes always felt drier from using that stuff. It's like lip balm. The more you use the lip balm, the drier your lips get. So I refuse to put that stuff in my eye.
Yeah. Anything we take in externally, okay, the body stops making it. We know this with isolates and et cetera, but you know, the more we eat, the less the body makes its own food. Let's put it that way. The more we drink, the less the body hydrates. It's always backwards. So as we start living less is more, the body is forced to go back to learning, to relearning, to remember how to do all that stuff, because it does. It does it anyway. That's why when we're fasting, all the things start correcting themselves, because it's working properly on nothing, because that's what it works best with. But we're duped to believe that we need external things, and we continue to take in external things because that's what we're programmed to believe. So we have to come to the realization and have a little bit of faith and trust in our soul. I know that operations are something that are not natural, et cetera, but there's things you can do to not use their stuff afterwards. If it's to do with like a heavy operation, pain and all that, dry fasting is the best for pain relief. Go on 3, 4, 5 day dry fast. That's the times you will feel the least pain.
So if I went on I did 2 days. If I went on 3 and 4, using the tinctures and maybe a tea, a little bit of tea throughout the day. Because I noticed after the second day, I broke the fast because I felt kind of funny in the head.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, if dry fasting, I think we're gonna put in the protocol. If the long dry fasts are a bit too challenging for people, go to the colon feeding protocol.
Oh, I tried that.
Yeah, meaning you're dry from above. You're just doing, you know, enemas or colonics or colema, but you're doing that from day one every day. You're not dry fasting and then starting. No. You're starting with the colon feeding protocol.
Okay.
And do it that way. And so, you know, if you really have a challenge, try doing like a 5, 6, 7 day colon feeding protocol.
I've got the 4 twice.
Oh, you got the 4? Okay, excellent.
Yeah, 2 times that I tried it. Yeah.
And how did you find it?
I got very thirsty. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, wasn't hungry. Once I start fasting, I'm not hungry at all.
Was it easier?
Once I start eating, I want to eat everything.
Yeah. Was it easier than the dry fast?
Well, it's easier. Of course, it's easier to dry fast. You don't have to do anything. But when you colon feed, you got to colon feed. Yeah, you know. So either one.
Yeah. Well, there's a few people who have challenges with getting to 3 day dry fast. Okay, no big deal. Work, like we said, do the semi-dry or start with the colon feeding to stop, you know, to train yourself to stop taking anything from the mouth and just wash and wash and wash. Like, you know, when we've used that for, you know, people that couldn't hold anything down for days on end. So, you know, continuously wash, or somebody has diarrhea for a long time, you can get into a dehydrated state. You can save people. And Michelle saved animals that way as well. Like
I know. Yeah.
So it's very powerful tools that we have to use in our arsenal. Yeah. But you're doing great. You know, you're doing fantastic. How are you feeling overall?
Oh, I was feeling good this week. I went out and picked all the fruit. No, I got a whole bunch of grapefruit and oranges now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The ones that fall off the tree are the best. They're perfectly right.
But I shook the tree with the rest of them, and I said, "Tree, give me the rest of this fruit,"
Yeah.
because it would have fallen down, and then I would have, not been there to pick it up. So
Yeah. No. Yeah. If they fall off by shaking it,
yeah,
they're pretty much ready to fall anyway.
because it's a ways away from my door, so
Yeah.
not that far, but a ways. Ranji, you wanted to ask me something?
Nothing. I just really love you, Margaret. I think you're amazing. You're so inspiring. You're a beautiful soul. I love how you're on here nearly every week. You're just gorgeous.
Yeah, I need a haircut too. My skin is really bad. It's when I dry brush it, it's like snowflakes falling down to the so it's really tough skin right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Continue. You know, keep your you're eating mostly fruit now.
No, I've been eating vegetables and fruit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Digestion's kicked in. Bowels are working.
Yeah. Because I take an enema every day anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Continue. Keep digging. This is what we do.
There was another comment. I was watching Kelly's video, and Rana's picture, her video, and what she looks like then and what she looks like now. It's unbelievable how beautiful she looks now. Her skin is so perfect, and her hair compared to was when Kelly had her video. I don't. She's not on tonight. Rana's not on.
Which Kelly?
When Kelly had her video
Kelly.
for Saturday night video,
Okay.
it was probably a year and a half ago, was it?
Okay, yeah. Well, there's so many. It's hard to keep.
Yeah.
All,
But yeah, the difference in her face, Rana's face between then and now,
mm-hmm.
it's like day and night.
Mm-hmm.
How beautiful her skin got.
Yeah, it's the transformation happens. It's just put the effort in and continue, and
Yeah.
don't worry about what may seem to be going backwards, because if you're living the lifestyle, you're not going backwards. It's all part of the process, and this is very difficult to get that message through to most people. It's very difficult. Everybody looks at healing reactions or this or that, dry skin or hair falling out or teeth as all negative, negative. When it's no, it's just part of the process. We don't want our teeth falling out.
Your beard got white. It wasn't white before. It was like gray. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the lighting. We don't want our teeth falling out, so we'll use tools and do the best we can to, keep that happening. But the sad thing is that what the body doesn't do anything by mistake. If the teeth are built of very poor material, the body may want to reject it, and that's what's trying to happen. And we look at it as negative, but maybe in the higher order of things, a new set of teeth would grow in if we allow the process to happen. But because our fear sets in, and so on and so forth, we stop these processes. And it's the only thing stopping us is the faith. So I'm not saying to let your teeth fall out. I'm saying do the best you can to use the tools to support what we have and continuously keep energy moving in that area, because a lot of people, and myself included, problems in here. Mine started with a high fats, the teeth problem. It was not a pleasant experience, but hey, it was all for a purpose to learn, but I definitely truly believe we can regenerate teeth because people have done it. And even if they haven't done it, doesn't mean that we can't do it anyway. You know, of course it's possible. Everything's possible. How much effort are you willing to put? How much time are you willing to put? Are you committed? Are you dedicated? And just let the process take place and allow everything to just support the processes. Just support them wholeheartedly with the full trust and faith. And it's not going to be easy because we're dealing with emotions, as we were talking most of the night. Emotions. That's the biggest thing. You know, you lose your teeth. What is it? It's an emotional experience. Physical, okay, you can't chew food, but it's an emotional thing. Oh, you know, so it can be devastating for people if things like that happen. So we avoid them at all possible causes. Use the GANS materials. Play with GANS materials. Meditate, just to connect to soul. Use the herbs, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Continue dry fasting. So on and so forth. From Terrell. It's so wonderful to connect with you, beautiful souls, vibrating on such sacred frequency. Day one again for me. Special thanks for inspiring me to start again, Ranji. You go, girl. I am so excited for the awareness that came through 108. Much love to you all. Much love to you. It's awesome, all the different experiences of people going through the long MFSs and what comes forth. Everybody has a unique experience. There's similarities, but we all have unique experiences, and every fast is unique and different. Nothing's ever the same. We're always evolving and expanding. So, we're already at 2 hours. Wow. So we'll call it a close for another Saturday Night Live, and we wish everybody well. And always be true. Keep that trust and faith. You know, true to yourself. And
love everyone. Thank you for a great Q&A. Thank you. Love you. Have a great week.
see you all.
Love to Rana too.
Keep that plasma love flowing. Ciao, guys. Good night.